AITA for using a spray bottle to train my nephew. My nephew is a rainbow baby. My sister had a lot of trouble conceiving and he was kind of a miracle. She was 42 when she finally managed to give birth. She was on bed rest for the last 3 months of her pregnancy. My nephew is now 6 and, while I love him, he is a monster. He throws tantrums when things don't go his way. He screams if he loses playing a game. He refuses to understand why he can't ride my 7-year-old Saint Bernard. And he thinks any food is his. My husband is diabetic and he loves cookies. I found a bakery that makes amazing sugar-free cookies, but they are expensive. I budget for them because my husband deserves his treats when he gets home from work. My sister was visiting and my nephew was running around like a squirrel. He tripped and started crying, so my sister picked him up. He saw the cookie container on the counter and started asking for some. I said no, that they were special cookies for his uncle. I offered him a regular cookie or some fruit, but he got all upset that he was being denied. My sister asked if he could please have a cookie. I relented and gave him one. He took a bite and said it was yucky and threw it on the ground. I was a little upset. A little while later he came back and asked for another cookie. I said no. My sister said to just give him one. I told her no. He wasted the last one. He started screaming that he wanted a cookie. I stood my ground. He eventually went away. Next time he came he didn't ask. He just went for the container. I grabbed the spray bottle I used to keep the cat off the counter. I gave him a couple of squirts and said, no. He got startled and ran away. My sister said her son isn't an animal to be reprimanded with water. The next time he came into the kitchen I put my hand on the spray bottle. He didn't even look at the counter and he went away. My sister called my parents to tell on me for treating her kid like that. They are mad at me for not giving in to the poor baby. NTA, does the spray bottle work on your sister? It's not the kid's fault. It's the mother's. So when she fails to discipline him, grab the spray bottle and squirt her until she controls her kid. NTA. I legitimately cackled because my ADHD brain would immediately go, listen. I don't know what else to do, but there's a squirt bottle in my current perception, and if it works on pets, I totally get it. So, let's break this down before some weirdo comes in and tries to make you feel guilty. Your husband has specific needs that can get pricey. As a person who has dietary limitations and who lives with others who do as well, I know how unfair the diabetes, celiac tax is on a budget-strained house. This kid is going to get hit so hard by the world, and I legitimately bet this is the first time anyone's said this. So I have 2 things for you. A golden NTA that I will vigorously and aggressively defend. And advice. If your sister can't get her kid to understand that your house has rules for a reason, and that you're unable to afford, financially, or from a stress perspective, her excessive spoiling of that kid, simply ban them from coming over. You have every right to protect your home, your sanity, and quite frankly, I hope it right pisses her off if you do it, so she's forced to realize the way she's raising, or not raising, her child harms others. NTA. Your method of enforcing boundaries may be a little unorthodox, but it was effective and hilarious. Now it's time to set some boundaries with your sister too. If she tries to get you to give in to her kid's tantrums, tell her sweetly that the poor little baby must be tired, overwhelmed, not feeling well, and she needs to take him home. If she argues, you have a spray bottle and you know how to use it. NTA. If mom won't do the hard work of parenting, then you're left to your own devices. That message seemed to get through. I suspect it was a more knee-jerk reaction rather than your best parenting, so I wouldn't repeat it. But that kid needs to learn about boundaries. Soft NTA boot. Perhaps it's time to start setting some boundaries with your sister. It sounds like she is enabling the poor behavior, and from my POV it's more her fault than his. NTA bad kitty. LMAONTA. If your sister wants to let him act like a wild thing, then he's going to get trained like a wild thing. Kinda. But really, water is harmless from a spray bottle. It's not like you're dealing out physical punishment or spraying him with harmful chemicals. Your sister needs to discipline her kid, unless he has some sort of functional disorder. It sounds as if she's not setting any sort of rules. In no world should she be cajoling you into doing anything for her child that you have already said no to. It invalidates your authority over your possessions and reinforces narcissistic behavior in her child. You might want to sit down with your sister without her kid and let her know how her behavior, lack of disciplining child, invalidating your boundary with the cookies, affects you, and the changes that you would like to see. Starting with no means no, and respect for other people's possessions. I'm a mom, and I mean this sincerely. Please keep spraying. If she's going to let him act like an animal, go on and spray him. NTA. Your sister, on the other hand. Yup. Are all rainbow babies spoiled rotten? If her kid would stop acting like an animal, you'll stop squirting him. The squirt tactic is perfect. Just don't let him get a hold of it. Plus, your sister owes you the cost of that cookie. NTA. I mean, if this was your child, I'd say no, don't do that. Long term, this obviously doesn't solve anything. But it did make me snort laugh, cause your sister is raising a gremlin and you gotta do what you gotta do. NTA. That is hilarious. NTA. We got our puppy about the same time as my niece was toilet training. Niece did not want to give up nappies, and my sister in despair asked me how we were toilet training the pup. I told her we train pup with treats. 1 week and a box of Maltesers later, my niece was using the toilet. Humans are animals. We respond to the same things as our fellow mammals. You found a good way to correct an unruly nephew, and it gave me a good chuckle. NTA. Would she rather you haul off and slug him one? Or kick them both out of your house and tell them not to come back until she learns how to be a parent? Maybe your reaction wasn't ideal, but it worked. And it was completely harmless. Excuse me, NTA. I can't get over the fact that your sister, who is almost 50, called her parents to complain. Is she still a child as well? Jesus. She sounds absolutely horrible to deal with. NTA. It worked, didn't it? I was prepared to call you the but after reading this, no. NTA. Spray some water on your sister next. NTA. Tell sister that it's your house, your rules. She either parents her kid, which does not mean letting him run wild, or not come over him. Then you won't need to train him like a cat. Her choice. 6 is not a baby. She let him become a little monster with lax parenting. You have made my day. I can't recall the last time I've laughed this much at a Reddit post. And as for judgment, NTA, and as others have suggested, spray your sister as well.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.